There's an interesting thing happening with the climate change debates. So apparently climate change is trading places between number one and two on the top priority of voters between healthcare and climate change. So those are one and two in the priorities. And I think there was a recent poll that put climate change at number one. So I saw a bunch of stories about climate change, recent ones. So stories that are just in the past week or so. And there are quite a few of them. And so I clicked on all those stories because the related stories came up as suggestions. And I wanted to see what they're saying about nuclear. And so it was story after story, which took the same editorial point of view, which is that climate change is a big problem. And if we don't do something really, really seriously and really, really soon, it's going to be a big problem. And then I was looking through the story, and they were long ones. These are not like short blurbs. These are lengthy stories. And I'm looking for them to mention nuclear power as the only solution. It's not even mentioned. They don't mention it as something that's considered. They don't mention it as something that's a bad idea. They don't mention it as a good idea. They act as if it doesn't exist. Now, I think it was 2 days ago, I was watching Fox News show The Five, best show on television, in my opinion. And Juan Williams plays the part among the five people as the voice of the Democrats, if you will. So he plays that role. And Juan said that climate change is a big issue. I'm paraphrasing. And that the current administration has no plan to combat climate change. Well, Greg Gutfeld says nuclear. He talks over him, says nuclear, Generation 4 nuclear. The administration is in favor of nuclear. Now, what did Juan do when Greg answered the question? I think maybe Jesse Waters may have said something, maybe Dana Perino, I'm not sure who was talking, but it was like a little chorus saying, nuclear. The administration does have a plan. They're supporting nuclear. That is the only solution. Now, they didn't use those words. Those are my words. But what did Juan do when he said they have no plan? And then immediately he was told what the plan is. Now, I think plan is overstating it, but it is true that nuclear power. Now, people are telling me that I'm frozen, but last time that didn't seem to be true. So some of you might be trolls. All right. Is there a latency? It's back. Okay, so it seems to be back. So as I was saying, that when Juan Williams mentioned that the administration has no plan for climate change, several others, Greg Gutfeld notably, quickly mentioned, yes, nuclear, they back nuclear. What was Juan's response to being proven wrong, or at least shown a counterpoint that is very important? How did Juan respond to that? Here's the fun part. He acted like it didn't happen. He acted as though nobody had said words, that nothing was happening. He just paused a little bit and then continued talking without mentioning it. Now, I just read a whole bunch of articles on climate change without even mentioning nuclear as an option, even to eliminate it. And then I watched Juan hear nuclear and act like the words weren't happening, like there was nothing happening. Just literally like there was nothing happening. He didn't respond to it. He didn't debunk it. He didn't agree with it. He acted like there was no noise in the room, like a ghost had got his attention, but there's nothing there. I have a theory that this might be another one of those cognitive blindness situations where it doesn't matter how clearly you tell somebody something, how important it is, how obvious it is, how big it is, that they're just blind to it. Right? So, so watch for that. Watch for how anybody talking about climate change, if you mention nuclear, watch what kind of reactions you get. Now, in person, you might get a reaction that's more like, oh, I'm afraid of it, and it'll melt down and stuff. And then you could mention that Generation 3, which is the kind they have in France, I guess we have a few in the United States, have never had a problem. The old technologies had some notable problems, Chernobyl, Fukushima, etc. So old technology has had problems. Generation 3, of which there are many, many plants in production for a long time, have never had one. They've never had a major problem. And Generation 4, which is starting to come online, almost can't have a problem. It's designed so that if everything goes wrong, it just cools down on its own.
Republicans have zero ideas about dealing with climate change.
Nuclear.
So what do? They say, oh, these Democrats, oh, this greenness is terrible.
Juan,
but you know what?
Should we have less babies?
They are vacant, and
we're pro-nuclear.
Even though Republicans tend to agree, consensus-wise, there's climate change, not necessarily its human cause, as the UN report suggests, but everyone says something's going on, something's not good. Do the Republicans have any ideas except making a fun of
Here's
fun
an idea that I've talked about on this program, natural gas, because we've got it coming out of the United States. It's private business, and it's reducing
reliable sources.
And it's reducing our emissions from power plants dramatically. We're leading the world in climate and emissions reduction.
Look, I would say the Republicans do have some ideas and some plans and policies.
Let me hear.
But the president, here's the thing, the president doesn't talk about them, right?
I see.
Look,
But
I know when you
what
have
is
the
it,
bully
Dana?
pulpit.
Okay.
Oh, well, you could look at it. There's the natural gas. All of our emissions are down, even despite our economy going gangbusters. Our emissions continue to go down while our economy goes up.
Right.
Can we transfer that around the world where they want to have prosperity as well? That's what we should be looking at. And I would add,
Look at France.
80% of young conservatives all think that climate change is a very serious issue. It's in their top 5.
Right.
So I think he should talk about it more because he has some good things to say.
I wish they had real ideas.
It's
called nuclear power. Gen 4. Take a look at it.
Here's what the Democrats won't tell you. They want to screw you by raising your energy prices dramatically. They want your gasoline to be $5 or $10 a gallon, but they won't tell you that because they know it's a regressive tax and it hurts the poorest of the poor the most.